Check out this monster. Hello family, my name is Chris. I am your home gamer dad, and welcome to another unboxing video where today we will be diving into the role of a merciless killer stalking helpless survivors as we check out Dead by Daylight, the board game. Man, I was not expecting the box to be this large in a sense. I mean, it's about the same thickness as you would find with most board games, but like it is a long game here compared to most other things. It's not going to be able to fit anywhere on my Calyx shelves. I have a space for it up top. I also like how on the back of the box here, death is not an escape. So this is, of course, the collector's edition of the game. This comes with not only what the base game has, which I believe was like 8 survivors and 8 killers or something like that, but also incorporates almost double that. Really, it's double the amount that you would get for the base game. You even get another 2-sided map. So I would have 4 maps in order to be able to play with this. The plastic is off of it right now just because I didn't want the reflection. It was getting too much reflection from everything else, but I have not opened this yet. So for you guys, we're all going to go on this journey together. I do have a little camera set up to the side for anything that we need to have a little bit more of a zoom in effect for. So let's go ahead and release the entity. I like this little piece right here just because it's a quick game overview that you can pass out. Very nice cardboard stock that they put this on. Not like the thickest thing. It's still a little flimsy, but it's not going to rip very easy, at least. Quick guide on what you do as survivors and killers throughout the course of the game. And then it does come with what exactly is in the component box, collector's components and collector's updates. So we got a bunch of upgraded pieces here that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. Let's just put this under here so you guys can see. There you go. 10 survivor cards, 10 minis, another double-sided board, 10 killers, 10 killer boards. So this is what you're getting in the collector's edition. So you would have whatever you would have in the base game, plus all of these. So the mini hooks are in the box. The mini generators are not, and I'm going to show you guys how they came in a little bit later. You got the plugs that go into the generator. After 3 plugs go in, then the generator is activated, and that's one of the win conditions for the survivors. And the blood points, which are normally cardboard punch-outs, looks like big deluxe things. Different types of movement card for the blight, and then you gotta move that up a little bit more just to kind of see some other stuff down here, which are really all killer specific, depending on what it is they do. And if you know anything about the video game itself, you'll recognize a lot of these stuff that goes with that particular killer. I'm not entirely familiar with the twins. I haven't seen it yet, but I know the clown, the trickster, things along that ways. Everything is packed in here really nicely, and I can't wait to show you, like, as I go through this, how everything is put together. The rule book itself is beautiful. Like, look at that. It has a nice shine to it. It's a nice feel and everything. It is pretty long, it looks like. I don't even know what the page number's on it, but you got quite a number of pages in here. It is a lighter game, so even though there is a lot of pages, most of them, it looks like there's a bunch of examples. The writing on it is very big, so you should be able to find stuff pretty quickly. It's not that difficult in order to go through. It's a player goes, all the players go, and then the killer go, and then all the players go and the killer goes. And it's kind of like a hidden movement style game where you place down cards to show where you're moving on the paths on the board, and then once everybody moves, the killer gets 2 moves where everyone gets 1. How you spend your blood points, how you interact with the different props that are on the board. Yeah, I mean, there's the whole back end, or tips, frequently asked questions, game modes, things like that. So there's really not too much with this. Oh, and it even comes with a tutorial video to it too, so that's even better. I learn better by seeing, so that is great for me. All right, so we have, it looks like, our survivors in here. I'm going to open this up and kind of just show off a few of them. These are your player boards depending on who you are playing as. So got all of these are the survivors, and it looks like on the back of them all they talk about, oh cool, so you have your basic survivors. You're definitely going to have survivors that you're not using in a game, but then on the back it tells you what each one of the props do. Check this out. So when you're setting up the board, you're putting these different colored tokens throughout the entire map of the board, and each color has 2 different things on the side of it. Now they're on one side, so you don't know what it is, so as you go through, you got to flip them over in order to see what they do. And it's really cool because this, on the back of every survivor, it gives you basically a rundown of what each one does. So you can give the person their survivor card. Here we have Elodie Recchio, I think, something like that. I don't know this particular survivor. So whoever's playing as this person will be able to play as her, but then if you can have somebody else, you would just take a different card, maybe put it next to you or whatever, so you can keep track of what all of the props do. That's really cool. I like that. I'm going to show a different survivor because she's a harder difficulty. I want to put an easier one down here, probably from the base game. So seeing as we're talking about survivors, this pack of 10 survivors here are your collector's edition. This pack of 7 here are your basic edition. So if you get the retail edition of this, you'll get Feng Min, Ace, Nia, Claudette, who I'm going to actually show off because I love Claudette, Jake, Dwight, and Meg. So that is your base survivors for the main game, and then you get 10 more. That's 17 survivors. You're going to be using 4 every game or whatever, but that is a really large amount of mix and matching here. Like, that's a lot of replay value for something like this. So what's nice about these player cards is it's very nicely laid out and easy to understand. I mean, you got your name, the difficulty level of this particular character, which is really only related to the perks down here. These are what her starting perks are. There is an advanced mode where you can take perks from the decks in the game and overlay these in order to create different perks for your character. But these are all very easy to figure out and read and do what you gotta do with. Every character will get one, well, they won't get. If you find a chest, you can only hold one item, and that would go here, so that's a spot for that. And then your blood points go here, and it shows you every survivor can hold a maximum of 6, and they start with 2. I wonder if that changes at all depending on the survivor, but for the most part, that's what it is. And then, of course, the layout of how each round goes in the phases. So you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, then you go back to 1, and you do it again and again until somebody wins. So I like the way these are laid out. This looks really nice. Character from the game, always one of my favorites. And can't wait to see what the minis look like, which is coming soon. Don't worry. Let's go. On the killer side, 6 come in the base game, 10 additional ones come in the collector's edition. So there's 16 different killers, each of them that play very unique to their own play style and everything, that you can get in the collector's edition. You're only going to play 1 killer per game, so you need to play this game at least 16 times if you personally really want to play as every killer. So again, just a lot of replay value for these things. It's games like this that I love, that type of replayability factor to it, where every character you play as is different, very asymmetric. Love it, love it, love it. And I want to just play as on them all. I want to see them all in action and really get an idea of how each one of them play. Now, let me grab one of the killers from the base game, and we will take a look at that one. Here we are. Here we have the Wraith, actually my personal favorite killer from the game. He is a harder one in order to do, but that really is, again, all based on the starting perks that he has, and then, of course, his unique power. So all killers, they can't hold any items, but they all have a unique power to them that just makes them different, you know, from killer to killer, and makes you want to go back and replay them all. And then again, just like with the survivors, the killers have perks pre-assigned to them, but you can go ahead and take perks from the box and overlay them and to make this basically anything you want. Blood points as far as killers go, and again, this is pretty much every killer. I don't think any of them are different, but they start with 4 and they can go to a max of 12. Very easy for killers to earn blood point in the game. And then you can spend 4 blood points at the end of your turn to take a 3rd turn, which is absolutely crazy. But that's a lot of blood points that you would have to spend, and you can only do that 1 per turn. So it kind of gives the killers the advantage because it is a 1 versus 4. The players are just running around doing all types of crazy things, and you are, you know, the lone killer hunting them down. So you're going to need that extra oomph to you in order to be able to grab them, hurt them, and hook them. I love these player boards. They feel nice. They're made out of nice material. And then on the back of the killer boards, you're able to see how the killer can interact with these various objects. Most objects the killer can't do anything with, but at least with here you can see what they can do with, you know, the various pieces. And then, of course, what you do when you attack a survivor and the steps in terms of picking them up and walking them over to a hook and leaving them for the entity to come and take. Awesome. Love it. So cool. So many choices in this game. I love it. And again, because as someone I played the game, I just like seeing them here. Like it's amazing. Thing to keep in mind with the killers in here, it is all the killers that are basically Dead by Daylight exclusive characters, ones that they made up for the video game, into the board game, yada, yada, yada. You're not going to find Freddy Krueger. You're not going to find Leatherface, Michael Myers, Ghostface, you know, all of those IP characters are not in here. I would imagine that would be a nightmare in order to get the license for all those, in order to be able to put them in here. But let me tell you, even if you have the base game, 7 survivors and 6 killers is a great combination to play that. And I think the base game is like $50 or something like that. This is $100. So again, it's double the price, but it's double the amount plus, which is actually 10 killers added to this. Absolutely amazing. Let's look at some game boards, shall we? The game boards are pretty big. I remember a lot of people were complaining that they were very dark, that you couldn't see them when the Kickstarter was running through. I don't really know how much they've changed from one to the other, but this is one part of the map. You can jump to all these different areas, and ideally what it is you would play a card, and if you would play the green card, you'd be able to move from here to here, or if you were here, move from one to the other. And that's how you would move around the board, playing cards and telling them what spaces you're going to go to. And in each one of these spots, you would have these different props that would come up. A yellow, 2 blue, and a green for here, one of each color here. On the top, you have the survivor track, which is pretty much, they have to recharge 4 out of the 5 generators are on the board, and then find the exit and open it up. Whereas the killer needs to hook X amount of victims until he fills up this track. Once this is all filled, then he wins. And this is the continuation from the other side. This obviously lays flat or whatever, but it's just easier for you guys to see it here. So that is Macmillan Estate on that one, and then Autohaven Wreckers for this one. This is the base game. This is the double-sided map that you would find in the base game, whereas the Collector's Edition also comes with the Ormond, which I don't really remember this very much, but I think it's, you know, hey, whatever, more maps is more maps. I love it. And this actually feels brighter than the other ones for some reason. I'll take it. I mean, sure, why not? And Crotus Pen Asylum. That's so cool. Oh, look at some of these areas. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I just want to play on all the maps too, because they're in different orders. There's things separated in different spots and everything, and it's just so cool. These are starting locations. So the survivors would roll at the very beginning of the game, and depending on what you roll determines on what space you start on. There are 6 spaces with 6 different symbols. That is your starting spot. You don't get to choose. It just happens. Bunch of different tokens and whatnot in order to punch out, you know, add it to your game. The tokens for the various killers that have them do their special techniques and whatnot. And then over here you have all of the props that you would punch out, randomize on the board, and then you would flip them over to see what they are. These are what the blood points originally look like. This is the entity first player marker, so you would give that to one of the survivors, and that would pass from round to round. Again, these are all just tokens and everything that you would punch out in order to be able to just do the various things. You won't use them all for every game. Like this is in order to fix the, the generators and whatnot. But that's not really the thing. This is what you would get in the standard edition, you know, tokens and whatnot, which is fine. Tokens are wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy tokens. But what I like looking at are things like this. So instead of cardboard punch-outs and everything, you get these thick, nice pieces for your blood points. So let's take a look at these. Actually, before I go down and take a look at that, I just want to point this out. For anybody out there that got the Kickstarter already, you probably already know this, but if you haven't, you are actually going to get your generators shipped to you. It's in the same box with your collector's edition and everything, but they just put them in their own case right now, because I can definitely see something like this piece right here very much popping off in shipping and whatnot. There are spaces in the box itself for you to put them in when you are done, but they just put all of your 3D generators, you know, to add a little bit of life to your board and everything in a separate container. So I'm going to put these under the camera so we can get a better look at everything. All right, so again, this is collector's edition. So if you have the regular edition, the retail edition, a lot of this won't look this way. This is just what's in collector's edition. Granted, in the retail, you're going to get these dice and these like wound markers or whatever, because these would go on the bottom. Let me just grab it and snap it in right here. So you would have your character, and they would just snap in on the bottom of them, and that would represent, oh no, this character has a wound. So then they're able to be hooked afterwards. So that's all in the standard, retail edition. But like these right here, these blood token markers that are nice, thick, and chunky, and fun to play with, and fun to move around and everything, that's for part of the collector's edition. These battleship pegs right here are actually for the generator. So if you look at one side of the generator, it has 3 of these little like battery plugs in. The idea is that the survivor would go interact with the generator, and if they do a fixture on it, then that goes in there, boom. Once it has 3 little pieces in it, your battleship has sunk, and you are able then to activate this generator. 4 generators activated, opens up the gate. Will give you the ability to open up the gate, I should say. And then, of course, there are the hooks. The hooks here are what the killer uses in order to sacrifice victims to the entity. And you think like, oh, cool, that's there. It's a fun little piece in order just to show. But what's even better is that the back of each victim has a little hole in it. Guys, check this out. You can actually literally hook a victim on your board. I don't know if I can really do it well, show it off this way, but you can put them right on the hook and they're just hanging there for anybody to come and check out, or to go and rescue, or to just sit there and earn more and more points for the killer. I'm trying to look at 2 different things at once, so it's not hooking, but it works great. I mean, you just saw right there, I'm able to just do and every victim is able to just do that. That is great. That is a fun little feature to the collector's edition that I'm glad that they included. That's great. Oh, and before I forget, because I love dice so much, these are all unique dice. So you get 4 of these and 1 of these. The basic dice have 1, 2, 3, come back here, 4 and 5 done in the same slash mark style as the game itself, and then this little scary marker right here. So whenever you roll to do a check for the game in order to be able to do something, 1 through 4 is generally your standard, like, I've done it, hooray. If you roll a 5, it's a critical success, so you're usually doing something better. But if you roll this, sometimes it's a fail, sometimes it's not, but generally this will always give a blood point to the killer and then go from there. I don't remember what this red one does, but because it's red and 2 sides, one side has a 5, the other side has a 5, and all the rest of the sides are like the killer fail symbols. That's got to be something pretty devastating that would happen. I don't remember what this dice has a specific name. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to read through the instruction manual again. For those that know the game, probably don't know what it is. I'd be curious to see how it plays into the game as well. I'm just kind of curious. How do we got here? Oh, look at that. Critical success and a 4. Beautiful. That was a good roll. I thought I was going to die immediately. So, all right, let's go. Cards are broken up into various types. You got your perks, you got your items, things like that ways. I'm not going to open these up and look at them. You also have your movement cards in here. Everybody gets crouch, run, sneak, hide, things along that ways. Crouch, sneak, sprint, vault. There you go. Those are your 4 basic actions. And then the killer gets the wait action as well, because they are the killer. They have the ability to wait in the same spot, whereas victims are always on the move, always jumping around from spot to spot. But with that said, let's go ahead and actually do what I'm sure a lot of you have come over to see. Let's take a look at the minis. So this is base game minis. They put them in their own separate spot here. I'll show these off and then I'll show the collector's edition. All right, there they are. They are really cool. So you have all your survivors down here, which I think, one of the other survivors and everything. And then all of your killers from the base game up here. Mr. Wraith hanging out with his bell and gong or whatever. This actually turns him invisible and runs around. This looks like the Doctor with his electrical abilities. These are some pretty cool minis. Like, they're a decent size, and they're very well detailed and have exactly what it is that you would expect from each one of the killers. The Trapper right here, the Nurse, very, very scary. Hard to play character. It was never one of my favorites with her. And then the Hag, another one that I kind of play as every so often, but not fully. Let me see. Can I get... There we go. Okay, finally. It's kind of focusing in and out, but... You know, there's the Wraith right here, ready to go and use his bone axe of sorts. Ah, come on, refocus. Oh, man, I need a better close-up camera than this thing. But as you can see, really, really cool. I love the way that these guys are designed. Minis themselves have always been... even though I don't paint, which I really should at some point, because I think it would be really cool to see these guys in, like, color and, like, true lifelessness and everything. I still think that just the designs of some of these minis are awesome. And as someone that has a lot of mini games, way more than I ever thought I was going to have, it's fun just seeing more and more come out and the different things people do in order to take stuff that I knew from a different media to the world of board games. Let's check out that collector's edition. Definitely a much bigger box than the other one. So here's where all your generators sit. Again, they are not in here originally. They're in that separate box whenever you get your collector's edition, but they just kind of slide into these spots here. And then right over here, we have all of our survivors, or at least the first set of survivors. And then down on the bottom, there are other survivors as well. Let me see if I can get this. And without actually destroying or moving the camera around, I wouldn't really be able to do much else. So, we have Huntress down here, awesome, which is cool. This is the Plague, if I can get her out of here. And then we have a few other ones as well. Got the Clown, and then one of the twins, I believe this one is. And then everybody else that you can see around here as well. The hooks are down here in their own little spot. There are 5 of them. Yep, 5 hooks. And then a few more survivors scattered around along with the rest of the killers. This is a little teeny tiny guy right here. Again, I'm not familiar with some of the later killers. I think the Spirit was really the last one that I got added to my game, and all the rest of them I'm kind of familiar with, but not. But they look really cool. Oh, the Oni. This is one that I really did want as well. He looks awesome. Let's see if I can... Oh, he does focus in nicely. Beautiful. Then come on. Come on. You just had it. You just had it. Come on, Logitech camera. There he is. Oh, look at all those details and all that fierceness. Oh, boy. That's so cool. Love his sword. Love his sword on the back. Awesome. Amazing. So there you go. This is the collector's edition again of the game. This is all the extra stuff, all the extra minis, and all the extra characters that you'll be able to see as you play the game. So cool. Actually, I'm just going to put the plastics back on them and put this guy back into the box. So this is the collector's edition with everything in it. And I got to say, this feels like a lot of wasted space. There's so much here that I think could be smushed down a little bit to condense the boxes. It's a massive box, which is probably unnecessary. But I have seen on the boards and everything people asking, can you take the stuff here and put it into the base game? I mean, you're going to buy the base game again, and then you're going to have a lot of doubles of stuff. So that's really on you if you want to do that. But yes, all of this stuff apparently can fit into the base game minus the plastic insert. So you'd probably baggy or make unique settings for each one of the figures, depending on what you want to do. I would just put them all in the bags. I don't really mind that at all. I'm gentle enough with my games, and I don't move them around with stuff, so I don't have to worry about things really breaking. Not that I would do that with this, because it's the only box I have for it, but I'm just saying for other things. You could do that. You could transfer all this to a smaller box, and it would work out fine. Again, I don't know why these holes are here. What are the level 99 games? What's the purpose of these holes here? Because it's not like these cards are fitting. I need like 3 more sets of cards in order to do stuff. Tell me your future plans. I want to know. And there you have it, everybody. Dead by Daylight, the board game. Absolutely 100% would recommend this game for anybody that is a fan of Dead by Daylight. I think that the base game even is still equally as, worth it, especially if you're a fan of the game. If you manage to find the collector's edition to be able to get all the extra killers and survivors and perks and the extra maps and everything, that's even more added to the pile of awesomeness that this is. I know a lot of people complain about how simple the game is and how easy it is to play, and some people just aren't very excited about it. I will make that judgment for myself once I finally get a chance to play it, which hopefully should come soon. I got a few people coming over in the next day or so to do like a few games, so I would love to be able to play this and show them and see how other people react to it, how they take to the rules, and then all the strategy involved in order to play these games, because you're running around as a survivor doing other things, and the killer just running around trying to kill. Thank you guys so much for watching this unboxing for Dead by Daylight, the board game. Let me know what you think of this game down in the comment section below. If this is something that you were looking forward to, do you have this in your collection? Are you expecting it at some time soon? Did this ever cross your radar at all? I know that at the time of this recording, there is another very similar style game on Kickstarter right now that people say that's what this game should have been. And even though I see the similarities, I also see the extreme differences between the two. I like Dead by Daylight. I prefer Dead by Daylight personally. Maybe because I'm more attached to the IP and whatnot, but that's just my personal opinion on it. And again, once I actually play the game, I'll be able to know a lot more about it to be able to possibly come back and give a better review or something along that ways. Do not expect me to play this on my channel unless I finally figure out a way to do multiplayer playthroughs. I haven't quite gotten there yet, or with the people and whatnot. There is no solo mode for this, and this is a 3 to 5 player game, so you definitely need the people to play it regardless. As always, my family, take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. Maybe I'll find members of my family in order to come over and play this with me and record it, or at least maybe do some pictures of whatnot. This way you guys can see it and everything. I'm just really excited to go through all of the perks and all of the guys and everything. Just read up on them and see how they translate from video game to board game. To me, that is one of the most interesting things when it comes to converting from one media to another, is how they do it. What do they take, and possibly even what do they omit? What could have made these characters better? Who knows? Figure it out later. But until then, you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next one.